Welcome to a world where the ordinary turns extraordinary, and the familiar becomes unfamiliar. Tonight, we delve into the chilling realm of the unknown, unfolding 3 true stories that will make your spine tingle. These aren't just tales. They are experiences of real people, encounters that happened in the least expected of places, hotels. From uncanny whispers in the night to shadows that move on their own, these stories will make you rethink your next hotel stay. Are you ready to check into a journey of suspense and mystery? Let the stories begin. In the heart of paradise, under the guise of a generous pre-honeymoon gift from my difficult but wealthy aunt, my husband and I found ourselves in Hawaii. This trip, a luxurious prelude to our upcoming wedding, carried the weight of family tradition, as my aunt and I had spent many years visiting these tropical shores together. We settled into the Hilton Towers in Waikiki, a place that was both a tourist haven and a beacon of luxury. Our room was splendid, equipped with a kitchenette and all the comforts one could wish for. Yet, upon our arrival, an eerie sensation crept over me. It was as if the room, expecting to be empty, still harbored the presence of someone else, unseen but palpably there, like finding a lone guest at a party long after everyone else had left. I mentioned this unsettling feeling to my soon-to-be husband, only to be met with skepticism. He brushed off my concerns as mere figments of my imagination. That first night, as the warm Hawaiian air filled our room, we carelessly tossed aside the sheets and blankets, not needing them. Sleep came easily, but with the break of dawn, an unnerving discovery awaited. I awoke, trapped in my own bed, the sheets tucked so tightly around me that I couldn't move a muscle. Panic set in as I struggled against my linen confines, my yells finally awakening my husband. As he slid out of bed unencumbered on his side, the sheets loosened, and I was freed. Shaken, I recounted the terrifying experience of being trapped, tucked in by an unseen force. My husband, ever the skeptic, insisted I must have done it to myself. But the logic was confounding. How could I have possibly tucked in the sheets so tightly while lying in bed? We argued, but no conclusion was reached. As he showered, I addressed the room, half in jest, half in a genuine plea, asking to be left alone, attributing my experience to the stress of our pre-honeymoon. Curiosity, fueled by the morning's unsettling events, led me to the hotel's front desk, where I inquired about any peculiar stories or legends associated with the Hawaiian Islands or the hotel itself. The concierge, a man whose professional demeanor momentarily faltered, hesitated before responding. His eyes briefly betrayed a knowledge of untold stories, as if the walls of the hotel harbored secrets known only to a select few. With a discreet glance around, he leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a near whisper. He revealed that certain rooms, including ours, were often the subject of hushed conversations among the staff. Housekeepers, he confided, tended to these particular rooms with an unusual haste, their swift movements hinting at an eagerness to leave an unsettling presence behind. He recounted tales of experienced staff members who felt an eerie chill in the air and a sense of being watched. Objects would subtly shift positions, and doors closed as if by an unseen hand. The concierge carefully avoided declaring these events supernatural, suggesting instead that the island's rich history and cultural beliefs might amplify such experiences. Yet, his tone and cautious glances hinted at his own unease. This revelation validated our peculiar experience, painting our room not just as a luxury retreat, but as a nexus for unexplained phenomena, a silent witness to the unseen and the unexplained. That night, under the eerie play of shadows and the distant lull of the ocean, I spoke again to the room's unseen presence, pleading for a peaceful night's rest. My words, a mix of hope and trepidation, sought to dispel the unsettling aura that had enveloped our stay. Beside me, my husband's skepticism, marked by dismissive chuckles and eye rolls, only deepened my frustration. While I was engulfed in a maelstrom of fear and uncertainty, he remained firmly grounded in disbelief, creating a rift between us as palpable as the mysterious tension that filled the room. However, the next morning brought a new mystery. A dusty bag of old candies sat conspicuously on our kitchenette counter. It hadn't been there the night before. My husband, confused, suggested it was a misplaced item from the maids, but its sudden appearance in our otherwise tidy room was disconcerting. As we prepared to check out, I thanked the room for its gift, but firmly stated that it was time for us to leave. I chose not to share this bizarre experience with my aunt, fearing her religious fervor might complicate matters further. The rest of our trip passed without incident, the majesty of the volcano overshadowing the strange occurrences at the Hilton Towers. Yet, the memory of those mornings, the feeling of being tucked in by an unseen hand, and the mysterious appearance of the candies remain vivid, a surreal chapter in our otherwise ordinary lives. In the heart of Kuala Lumpur, amidst the festive clamor of Christmas, I found myself unexpectedly upgraded to a palatial suite in a prestigious 5-star hotel. This stroke of luck was due to an overbooking mishap during a one-day think tank session I was attending. My roommate, choosing to attend only on the day of the event, left me in solitary luxury. The suite was a marvel of extravagance: dual large flat-screen HD TVs, a fully equipped kitchen with an adjoining dining area, a plush lounge space, an immense wardrobe, a regal king-sized bed, and a bathroom that beckoned with cozy indulgence. My day was spent in delightful idleness, lounging on the sofa and bed, my attention dancing between the two televisions. Outside, the window presented a dramatic view of Kuala Lumpur's skyline, overshadowed by brooding, rain-laden clouds. That evening, after a dinner and movie outing with friends, I returned to my suite around 11 p.m. The comforting routine of a warm shower followed, and then I settled into the embrace of the bed, a magazine in hand, the ambient noise of a cooking show on the TV providing a soothing backdrop. Eventually, the tranquility of the room lulled me into a state of readiness for sleep. Methodically, I extinguished all lights, secured the doors, and left only the TV's glow to fend off the complete darkness. However, my peace was short-lived. Abruptly, I awoke, disoriented, teetering on the edge of reality and dream. My eyes fixated on a chilling sight, a woman in a green saree, lifeless, sprawled beneath the television. Heart-pounding, I investigated, only to find nothing. With a trembling hand, I turned off the TV and tried to find solace in sleep once more. But the night's ordeal was far from over. Again, I was jolted awake, and there she was, the same Indian woman, clad in her patterned green sari, motionless in death. A frigid dread seized me. I cried out for my mother, a reaction that surprised me with its primal fear. Morning couldn't come soon enough. Each time I drifted off, the nightmare replayed with haunting precision. I screamed for help, but my voice was a prisoner to my terror. Each awakening was a brief respite from the horror, only to plunge back into it upon closing my eyes. Dawn finally broke, its golden light a stark contrast to the darkness of the night. I hastily prepared for the day, eager to leave the memories of the night behind. The elevator mirror reflected the toll of the night. My eyes, sunken and surrounded by dark circles, bore the mark of unspeakable fear. The day's conference unfolded in a daze, each moment propped up by the relentless intake of strong, bitter coffee. It wasn't until I was departing Kuala Lumpur, the city's shimmering lights receding into the night, that I called my mother and recounted the night's eerie events. Her reply, rich with the depths of Asian lore, painted a vivid picture of the suite's haunting. She suggested that it was marred by a restless spirit, a lingering echo from the area's dark history. She revealed to me that the very streets where the hotel now stood were once infamous, a notorious hub for criminal activities and unsavory characters in its heyday. This revelation cast a chilling light on my experience, suggesting that I had inadvertently brushed against the spectral remnants of a troubled past, a hidden layer of reality where restless souls still roamed, tethered to their unquiet history. As the city's twinkling lights dwindled in the distance, I was left to ruminate on the disquieting truth of her words, contemplating the enigmatic and shadowy mysteries that still haunted the corners of Kuala Lumpur. I remember it vividly, the night I spent in a haunted room at the old Sea Turtle Inn, nestled along the serene shores of Atlantic Beach in Jacksonville, Florida. It was a night etched in my memory, one that veered from the mundane to the inexplicable. The evening had unfolded in a rather ordinary manner. Traveling on business with a colleague, we had indulged in a leisurely dinner at Ragtime, a cozy eatery just a stone's throw from our hotel. Our arrival in town had been belated, and following dinner, we unwound with a brief nightcap at the bar. Time, as it often does when one is at ease, had slipped away from us. Nearing midnight, we acknowledged the demands of the early morning awaiting us and decided to retire to our hotel. The check-in process at the Sea Turtle Inn was swift given the late hour. We collected our keys, exchanged a customary "see you in the morning," and retreated to our separate rooms. My room welcomed me with an air of antiquity, its walls whispering tales of bygone eras. I settled in, engaging in the nightly ritual of turning on the TV, making a brief call home, and then, surrendering to the call of sleep, I extinguished the lights and the television. But as I teetered on the edge of slumber, a peculiar sound sliced through the silence. A faint, unidentifiable whistling. Initially, I attributed it to the capricious coastal wind. Yet, as I attempted to dismiss it and drift to sleep, the whistling intensified, growing in volume and insistence. In a mix of annoyance and curiosity, I flicked on the light. The sound ceased abruptly, leaving behind an eerie stillness. Shaking my head in bewilderment, I plunged the room back into darkness, hoping for a peaceful descent into sleep. However, the whistling resumed, its origin now seemingly shifting within the room, moving from the door to ominously hover near the window. Again, I reached for the light, and again, the room fell silent. A growing sense of unease crept over me. In a bid to coax sleep, I took an extra melatonin, yet what followed next was far from restful. As I succumbed to a deep slumber, an inexplicable force jolted me awake, a sensation akin to a hand, yet not one of flesh and bone, shoving me across the bed. It was as if an invisible entity, potent yet formless, had exerted its will upon me. Panic surged through me. I leaped from the bed, frantic lights ablaze, searching every nook of the room for an intruder. The bathroom, under the bed, the closet, all were devoid of any presence. Confusion and fear intertwined, leaving me questioning my own sanity. Convincing myself it was but a dream, I tried once more to sleep, yet the entity was not done with me. It shoved me again, more forcefully this time. The clock read past 2 a.m. My call to the front desk went unanswered. The thought of relocating seemed futile, given the scant hours left for rest. A realization dawned upon me, chilling and profound. This presence was not of the living. It was something else, something beyond the realm of our ordinary existence. In a desperate attempt to broker peace, I mustered all the courage I could find and addressed the unseen force directly. "Listen," I began, my voice trembling slightly in the heavy air of the room. "I don't know who you are, or why you remain tethered to this place, but I want you to understand. I mean no harm. I'm just a traveler, passing through, with no intention of disturbing your peace." I paused, swallowing the lump of fear that had formed in my throat. "I respect whatever history you hold with this room, with this hotel. I'm here only for the night and have obligations awaiting me at dawn. Please, if you can find it within you, let me rest. I promise, as soon as the morning light breaks, I will leave this place and never come back. You will have your solitude once more." My voice faded into the stillness of the room, the words hanging in the air like a fragile truce. I waited, half expecting a sign, a whisper, anything to indicate my plea had been heard. With that earnest appeal, I turned the TV back on, a low murmur of sound to break the silence. I left the light on, a beacon against the shadows, and placed a pillow over my head, hoping, against hope, for a night's respite from the inexplicable force that had so unnervingly made its presence known. With the TV buzzing softly and the light a comforting sentinel, I cocooned myself beneath a pillow and, against all odds, succumbed to sleep, exhaustion proving a stronger force than fear. The next morning brought revelations. The server delivering my breakfast shared hushed tales of the room's notorious past, of accidental deaths, suicides, drownings, and natural demises dating back to the 1930s. He spoke of maids who feared this very room, one even claiming to have been pushed while making the bed. I checked out of the Sea Turtle Inn shortly thereafter, vowing never to return to that room where the past refused to remain silent.